Greetings, all you phenomenal human beings who are worthy of love. Segoli Nadioliwith, Skanagoga, Skanago. I just said in Oneida. Greetings, what is the news? Are you with peace? I am with peace. It is an honor to be with you all here. Week 12 in American Indian philosophy here at Cal State Pavungna, aka Cal State Long Beach State. Stoked to have you all here, people. Loving the class so far, and we're going to pick back up here as it is now week 12. So we will show you the videos we're looking at this week, and this is going to be more of Winona LaDuke. Winona is phenomenal. I really appreciate learning from her in these videos as well too. One of the ideas she talks about is there's an elder who said, unless you know how to grow corn, I don't want to hear your philosophy, which has inspired me. And just today I was working on a Three Sisters garden in my own backyard here, the idea of this relationship with Mother Earth and these plants. And I have heard Chief Oren Lyon say around the time of the first quarantine and pandemic. So this is the first of many pandemics, and he said, get your gardens ready. He said those who make food are gonna be the ones eating this next pandemic around, which is harsh and pretty scary news, but at the same time, I think it's good to have that to do what we can to be prepared. So I would definitely encourage people to get your gardens ready if you can, to make your gardens edible, do things that you can, and particularly Three Sisters for Haudenosaunee and different peoples, but for the Haudenosaunee, the people of the Longhouse, this is the idea of the corn, beans, and squash. The corn grows upright, the beans will wrap around the corn, and the squash at the bottom there will create a base as well, so it doesn't get too much sun at the base where it can just get the sun where it needs. And they are stronger together, just like we as human beings, that we are stronger together when we work together. So you're going to continue learning from Winona LaDuke here and their incredible knowledge, talking about water is life and talking about the use of hemp and different things here. So that's where we're at for week 12 for our videos. Been loving all the responses. Again, for our beach board, if you have not already, be sure to be up to date on all your videos. If you missed 3, you drop a letter grade. If you missed 4 or more, you do not pass the class. So be sure to do that. Looking here, we are at week 12, and picking up at week 12 here, we're looking at the book How It Is by Cordova, and these sections of 4, 5, and Coda, what it is to be human, what is the role of the human in the world. I know it's a lot of reading for this class as well too, but you'll definitely get what you put into it. So looking forward to your responses and the discussion board as well too. Be sure to do our 3 to 7 sentences response in the discussions this week, as well as 1 to 3 sentences in our talking circle. I like to call our community peacemaking circle on GroupMe. And right now I want to share with you some quotes as Cordova, whenever she starts off each of the different sections of their book there, they pose many different questions. I feel like these philosophical questions are some really phenomenal learning. So just reposing them for you here now from 4 of what is it to be human? Who are we? How do we become human? Of what memories and stories, relations and responsibilities, affirmations and refusals, substance and spirit are we made? How do our relationships to others shape who we are, or our relations to the earth and the sun and the web of life? How are a Native American's views of himself or herself different from Christian views? Who has the right to define who Native Americans are? Noble savages, engines, archetypes, artifacts, subjects of anthropological study. How can we reclaim our identities and the right to shape our own destinies? Section 5 starts out, what is the role of a human in the world? Puts in the framing of these questions. What are the right ways of acting in the world? How do our relationships to place and community shape our responsibilities? What can we learn from Native American philosophies about how to live on Earth without damaging the social and ecological systems that sustain us? How can we find a new reverence for the good Earth, honoring our obligations to the generations that came before us and will come to be? How shall we live in a sacred world with what gratitude, what reverence, what respect and care? So as we pose those questions for you, I just encourage you to sit with those, reflect on those as we are listening to Winona LaDuke as well too, just drinking in that knowledge as well too. A reminder, just like the plants that drink water and sunshine, so do we. So an invitation, not an obligation. I encourage you all to sit up nice and tall, taking the deepest breath of love you have had all day as you breathe in some love. Exhale some love. A reminder that you are loved, you are worthy of love, whatever you're going through. I don't know what you're going through, but I know you can get through it. I know you got this. I believe in you. For this week's activity for our community peacemaking circle, really appreciated last week's meditative reflections of meditating in the morning and night. And even if you don't get to do it exactly when you right when you wake up or right before bed. I'll encourage you. This is a practice of meditation. I've heard it 7 directions described: up, down. The 4 directions are north, south, east, and west, and that's 6. The 7th is inside you. We'll tell you a quick story here from Georgiana Sanchez, who was one of my first professors at Cal State Pavungna, Cal State Long Beach. She's a Shumash and Tohono O'odham leader as well. And she has a book here as well, which is a phenomenal one. And it talks about a light to do shell work by. And, I will find it here after in a minute. But the story that Professor Georgiana Sanchez shared with us was in American Indian literature. We spent the first 6 weeks of the class in oral tradition. And she's telling us this story. She said there's this time when all the elders around the fire, they're seeing how times are changing with this younger generation. There's a lack of respect, a lack of reverence for the sacred. So these elders around the fire are talking about, where are we going to hide this knowledge so that when these humans are ready for it, that they will be able to have the knowledge. So, well, let's put it on top of the highest mountain, they say. And well, if they do, the humans are just going to go and they're going to want to go explore. They're going to find that. They're always looking for things. So let's put it at the bottom of the ocean. So, well, they're always looking. They're going to find it before we're ready. Where's a place we can put it inside? Where's a place we can put it where they will only have access to this knowledge when they're ready for it? And this elder, very, very old elder, and they're next to the fire, and it's saying, let's put it inside them. So this is the place that we'll put this knowledge, is inside them. So when they're ready, they'll go within themselves this direction to find this knowledge. So all that to be said is, as one of my old yoga teachers used to say, Alex Crow, instead of don't where the phrase says, don't just stand there, do something. But the idea of this meditation practice is, don't just do something, stand there. And even the idea of just observing your breath, which I know it sounds a lot easier. It sounds very simple, but the idea just to try to turn off the thinking mind, just to observe your breath and give gratitude. A simple practice, but important practice. So for this week's Community Peacemaking Circle, this idea is all about being present, being in this moment. As Chief Warren Lyons talks about this idea of meditation and gratitude. And part of that meditation is being present. So what I encourage you to do this week, it is an invitation, and for our Community Peacemaking Circle, is anytime you catch yourself thinking about the past, I want you just to tap yourself on the left hand and be like, okay, that already happened. I'm going to learn from it and not allow it to muddle up, to mess up my current present situation. I want to learn from it and then kind of flush it and move and be present here. So I'm going to tap myself on the left hand if I think about the past. If I catch myself getting anxious about the future, about things to come, I still have this to do, I still have this to do, I have this to do. Say yes, and like maybe I like to make a list of things in my Google Drafts of my Gmail. I'll make a little list, and then later in the day I'll put little check marks next to it as I go through it. But when I'm trying to be present, I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna make a note of that, and I'll get to it later when I have time. But until then, too, I'm just gonna tap myself on the right hand and say, hey, that hasn't happened yet. Let's not suffer twice for something that we don't have to. And maybe this imagined future may not even be real yet. Maybe it won't even go the way that we are fearing it will. So that being said, be present. Take care of what you can in the moment, and then let us know in the group me what your thoughts were with this exercise of what it's like to be here present in the moment. As you're tapping yourself on the left hand when you think about the past, tapping yourself on the right hand, you think about the future as we are being present. So, Yawanko Ganalunqua Nugiwa means thank you, I love you. Until next time, take care. Week 12, American Indian philosophy students, all the best.